Hello and welcome to Theatre of Dreams on World is One News, your definitive destination for all the action and analysis from the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. My name is Yash Jha and I'm joined by a relieved Ashley Westwood, two-time I-League winning coach and expert for the World Cup after he watched his nation, England, become only the second of the obvious top contenders to get their campaign off to a winning start. Ashley will help us set up day 6 of football's biggest spectacle, which sees the last of the groups, Group H, take off in Russia. But we start with the result from last night, an unexpectedly dramatic one at that. England have captain Harry Kane to thank, as the star striker's stoppage time goal saw them overcome a spirited Tunisia in their Group G opener at Volgograd. The question we posed ahead of England's campaign in Russia was whether or not a new England can overcome old ghosts. And while it's still early days at the World Cup, Ashley Westwood, not the result we would have expected, not the game we would have expected, but the kind of game which can do strangely good things to a team.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the result, to be honest. To get the 3 points was more important than anything. But to be honest, I think they started like a house on fire. You know, the first 30 minutes, you thought, here we go, you know, they're going to smash these 4 or 5. If they had been a little bit more careful in front of goal, certainly Raheem Sterling had an unbelievable chance. I still to this day don't know how he missed that. Just couldn't sort his feet out. Lingard also had a very good chance. I think if they stick one of them chances away, we would have seen it a lot more comfortable. The penalty decision obviously just rocked them a little bit. Showed you the kind of pressure that they are under, although everybody keeps talking about England not being under pressure and, you know, there's no expectation, but that just shows you when something goes against England, they were rocked for 15-20 minutes there, and they had to try and get themselves back on track, which they did.
For once, this was a World Cup which began with England not the centre of the headlines. Gareth Southgate had done a pretty admirable job in keeping the pressure off his young Three Lions, but one man who was constantly in the headlines was obviously the new captain, Harry Kane. And he proved his mettle in what could be such a telling result, just getting those 3 points instead of 1 right at the end.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly delivers. He's got a knack of being in the right place at the right time. You know, his football intelligence is fantastic. You know, his anticipation. You see his second goal, you know, he's on the move. He's anticipating where the ball might go. And obviously he's unmarked because he's so good at it. And then the finish was fantastic. It looks a simple header, but he had to head it from off his right-hand shoulder, really curve his head and use his neck muscles and place it just where he wanted it. So for me, it was a goal that was made to look simple, but it was all about his intelligence and his awareness that gets in them goals.
The man partnering him in that attack, if I could call it, you look at it broadly as a 3-5-2 setup. Raheem Sterling, like you said, had a bit of a shocker. Don't want to be too harsh on the basis of one game, but this is a rut that extends longer. It's now been close to 3 years since Raheem Sterling last scored a goal wearing England colours. 21 matches, I believe, 24 shots in that time period. It's a wastefulness that gets covered at Manchester City, where you of course have a lot of other people who can bang in the goals. But in this setup, is that something that could prove more costly to England ahead in the tournament?
Well, they'll certainly be monitoring it. You know, he did score quite a few goals at Man City last season, but he did obviously miss some chances as well. He gets in there though. If you see the chance he missed, he probably started 5 or 6 yards behind Harry Kane there. He was deep, but he made a fantastic run into the box and used his pace to get himself unmarked. So it's 6 and 2 threes really. You know, he gets in those positions because he's so fast, but then he misses them. So do you change him or don't you? No, somebody else might not have got in that position. But for me, Rashford is a natural finisher. You know, I've seen him play live, I've seen him warm up live, and the finishing drills that he does just in his warm-ups for Manchester United are spectacular. He's an out-and-out finisher. So I think Gareth Southgate will be looking at that and possibly may change Rashford for Sterling next game.
And those were 2 substitutions that Gareth Southgate did make in the second half, both of whom really impressed almost everyone watching. Rashford, as you spoke of, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek was quite impactful in the few minutes he got towards the end. Have they both made cases to perhaps get a starting spot in games ahead? Yeah,
I think everyone, certainly with Loftus-Cheek, could see the improvement that he brought. You know, Lingard's in that team to break from midfield, to get in the box and use his pace in dribbling situations, but Loftus-Cheek can drift past players as well. Not as fast, but just seems to like glide across the grass. His you know, balance is fantastic, and the way he basically just pushes people out of the way because he's so physically strong. I think he deserves a start, and you know, he's a top quality player.
Let's give a mention to Tunisia, Ashley. minutes away from getting what could have been such a vital point for them, and that stoppage time goal continues a pretty unfortunate trend for North African teams at this World Cup so far. Egypt, 89th minute goal, lost to Uruguay. Morocco, stoppage time own goal, lost to Iran. Now Tunisia, but it was a great effort from them.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I mentioned, England had enough chances to win that game. I think Tunisians know that because they lost, obviously, in the last minute, they'll be kicking themselves, but they'll realise that they didn't. I don't think they deserved to get anything out of the game, although they did put on a good performance. They're always going to be tricky at ranked, 21 in the world. But I don't think they did enough. It was a brave effort, but it just shows you that you have to concentrate for 95 minutes. Like you've mentioned, quite a few of the African sides have slipped up towards the end of the game, so possibly concentration needs to be addressed by those teams.
So on the basis of the opening bouts from Group G, Ashley, a safe progression for England and Belgium. They only face each other in the last game of the group stage. So do you expect them both to shore up their berths come game week 2?
I think so. I mean, if we looked at Panama last night against Belgium, I thought they were the poorest side in the competition, barring maybe Saudi Arabia. I don't think England have got much to beat there, although they will make it difficult. They do put 10 men behind the ball. It's a 4-5-1, and England sometimes struggle against those kind of sides because we don't have that creativity like you see in your other European sides, your Spains and people like that. It's always been a problem in England that the number 10 role, if you like. England are best playing with pace and getting at teams, so when teams sit in, sometimes it's a little bit hard, but we did see England score from 2 set pieces last night, which is a real plus as well.
Quite a few pluses then for Gareth Southgate to take into the next game into Panama.